Alright, so everyone was right. Everybody was 100% right. A 4K OLED is by far superior than an 8K LCD TV. And we have an announcement for basically all of you guys that support this channel. Now, I know we've discussed about the last TV was going to be our final one, and it was the Sony X90L. Well, we've actually changed our plans, and we have seen countless of reviews and YouTubers out there that have talked that if you are a hardcore gamer, which truthfully we are, we literally play everything, PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and to an extent every, once in a blue moon, we play our Nintendo Switch. As you can see, we have a Nintendo Switch right there on our arm of our couch right there in a box. And the main Switch on top. So, when it comes to hardcore gaming, everybody is right. A 4K OLED is by far the best TV type out there for basically gaming, for gamers out there. It doesn't matter if you go with a Sony OLED. It doesn't matter if you go with an LG OLED like the one behind us with the being an LG C1. And it doesn't matter if you go with a Samsung QD OLED or a Sony QD OLED. OLED is just by far the best. But even if you go with Sony, you are taking a chance of getting a slightly bit higher input latency, even though it's still low enough for a really, really good responsive gaming experience, and it's still being OLED. You're still getting instantaneously response times and input latency no matter what the odds are. But when it comes to gaming, I am going to be the first one to admit this, and there has been countless of people and just, gamers out there that say, oh, it's Samsung or oh, it's LG and such. Like, I'm just going to throw it out there. Samsung and LG, both of their OLEDs are both even for gaming. They have differences that make them really even. Like, yes, LG's OLEDs do have Dolby Vision, so if you have an Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, or gaming PC, if you have an LG OLED, you can get up to Dolby Vision while you game on your Xbox or PC. The Samsungs don't have that, but what makes the Samsungs better is that they are QD OLEDs, where you're going to get brighter, more punchy, rich colors, and better brightness than what you would get on most of LG OLEDs, except for like their previous G series with the MLA technology that's in the G3 and then this year's G4. But the new C4 is supposed to be a decently bright TV that has also been released for the C series this year from LG. Now, it's not going to be like Samsung QD OLED or the LG G series OLED brightness, but the C4 is supposed to be a slightly bit brighter than last year's C3, and the C3 from last year was also touted to be a decently bright TV to basically have with, a similar setup like our house is, where we got two windows and such in a small, not like small room, but like a decent, like medium-sized room that we're in. It was a pretty good one. So, no matter which one you go, when it comes to gaming, you're going to get beautiful picture. You're also going to get like the same exact input latency across the board. Now both LG and Samsung both support 4K at 144 Hz. I know I screwed up starting there saying that, but now they do 144 Hz at 4K. The LG just started, but Samsung, however, has been doing this with some of their TVs, not just their OLEDs, but their higher up LED TVs for at least the last 2 years, since 2022. But now, LG is now also offering 144 Hz 4K support. If you get a C4 or a G4, you're guaranteed with 144 Hz refresh rate. Now, the B4 is the only one that does 120, But there is also an advantage that the B4 did improve on over last year's LG B3. I was about to say B4 again. But the B4 actually has all 4 of its HDMI ports 2.1, whereas the B3 from last year only had 2. So right there is another advantage. And the B4 actually does get kind of close, if not just as bright as last year's C3. And the B4 is going to be a very, very good, awesome, affordable OLED that you can honestly get, especially when it drops price. But I'm just going to keep it real with you. I honestly thought an 8K LCD TV was going to be our future. But no, that's not our future. And we have now changed, and honestly, everybody's right. A 4K OLED TV is superior. And it looks just as good as an 8K LCD TV, if not better than an 8K LCD TV. Like, the OLED with the self-emitted pixels that you get on an OLED, it helps make the 4K image look so sharp and so crisp. And when it comes to gaming, I honestly don't even think that we're going to be getting gaming that can honestly hit 8K resolution, or at least very many games to hit 8K, at least not for quite some time. I mean, 4K has been around for at least going on almost 10 years at this point. Well, basically it's been going on for like somewhere around 11, 12, 13 years. But when it comes to like gaming in general, and especially console gaming, 4K basically began back in late 2016 on Sony's mid-generation refresh of the PlayStation 4 Pro. And then Microsoft a year later released the Xbox One X, and then now you have an Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 that 4K is now the main standard of pretty much gaming, except for some games hitting below. But you're only talking about like 200 to 300 resolution P below 4K is what I'm trying to say. And the image still looks as sharp as like a 4K image would look, and you're still getting that upscale 4K. Even on an Xbox Series S, you're getting a 1440p, 1080p experience on at least majority of games, not all games, but just at least majority of the games. And you're still getting an upscale 4K if that's what you choose to play on. So, no matter what the odds are, 4K has become the main standard. And even with developers struggling to get games to play at a decently higher frame rate at 4K, honestly, I just don't think 8K is going to be happening for quite some time now. And I'm thinking like probably the next generation console after this upcoming one. So we're talking probably at least 10 years, 15 years probably from now. Now, we could very well be wrong, and there's been rumors that the PS5 Pro would start doing 8K, but I just don't think that developers are honestly going to take advantage of it. Like, when you look at games with developers struggling to even do 4K as it is, and even some high-end gaming PCs can't even play every single game at 4K, like alone 120 frames a second. At this point, I just don't think we're going to get above 4K for quite some time, especially in the gaming universe. So, even though the Sony X90L, our previous TV that we currently have, that we just got 2 months ago in April, we actually have decided that we're going to get rid of at least 2 of our LED TVs, but honestly, we're going to get OLED, because OLED is definitely the future and is the best way to play games. It's the best type of TV, and even to an extent, we're also going to get a monitor that is OLED later on for a PC, probably like sometime next year or the year after. But honestly, we're going to get 2 new OLEDs for our gaming setups. Well, we're not going to use them, but we're going to have them for like a backup in an emergency if like our C1 or S95B QD-OLED ever starts to like get burn-in or dies or whatever. We'll have 4 extra OLEDs. And honestly, OLED is just the way to go. OLED is just by far the way to go for basically hardcore gamers out there, and even to an extent casual gamers if you can afford it. Like, even if you can find something like an LG A1 from 2021, or you're somebody that does have an LG A1 from 2021, and you do got an Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5, even though that panel only can hit 60 hertz, you will still be getting a nice ultimate experience, even for just 60 hertz refresh rate and auto low latency mode and whatnot. Because LG and Samsung have been literally, honestly, I would probably say they're the best brands for gaming in general. Like, even for LCD, Samsung's LCD TVs and also LG's, like, they also have very good low input latency, maybe like a couple milliseconds more than what an OLED does, but you're not going to see a difference in that. It's still going to feel really responsive. But what makes OLED a better option is that you do get the lowest input latency possible in a TV. You also get better colors. You also get the cleanest picture of all time, and you get the best response time, so your games play really, really smooth at the refresh rates that they're supposed to play, whether if it's 30 frames a second, 60 frames a second, or 120 or 144. OLED, everybody's right. OLED is definitely it. And we thought 8K LCD TV was going to blow us away in terms of having an 8K image that helps improve the 4K image. No, it did, but a 4K OLED, honestly, from watching reviewers and content creators out there that have done, like, comparisons and experience with both, and that have given us, their thoughts on it, a 4K OLED is by far superior. And honestly, like I mentioned, we're probably not going to get video games that's going to hit above 4K for quite some time. So, spoiler alert, we got 2 new OLED TVs that we're going to get. We're going to get rid of our LED TVs, or at least 2 of them, but we might get rid of all 4 of them if we decide. But in the meantime, we are definitely going to get rid of 2, and we got 4 OLEDs at the moment, and we're going to get 2 new OLEDs, so that way we have a backup. And honestly, yeah, that's what we're going to stick with. And this is going to be literally it. Because starting next year, we have to start worrying about saving up money and worrying about huge, huge plans in our far future. And so these probably are going to be the 2 last TVs for a very, very long time. Because we're not going to get games that are going to go up, heck, not even above 120 FPS. If anything, we'll get more games that can hit 120 FPS maybe on the next generation of consoles. But even with the current gen, even developers can't even get hardly 60 FPS except for lowering the resolution. So when it comes to like 120, 144 hertz on your console or PC, honestly, I wouldn't expect no higher than 120 and 144 hertz. Now, have an itch right there. So, minus all that. So, yeah, we're going to get 2 new OLEDs, and this is officially going to be literally it. Straight up. We're officially going to stick with OLED from here on out because it's just the best overall experience for gaming. And it doesn't matter if you get an LG OLED or a Samsung QD OLED or even to an extent a Sony OLED. They are definitely by far the way to go. But if you are a hardcore gamer out there and you definitely want the best overall, LG and Samsung are especially the way to go. Now, I can see people in the comment section saying, oh, LG's number 1, and then some people are going to say Samsung, or, well, some people will even say Sony. But personally, LG and Samsung, like we mentioned, they have differences, but when it comes to both of them, they're both pretty much even. Okay, you get Dolby Vision on the LGs that help improve the HDR experience, and that's what Samsung doesn't have. But Samsung has the newer OLED technology called QLED to give you brighter, higher peak brightness and colors and clarity and just brightness in general than a regular LG OLED would. But LG's also got Dolby Vision as well. But when it comes to having those trade-offs, you get the best number of input latency, literally like you get 10 milliseconds at all resolutions at 60 Hz and 5 milliseconds at all resolutions at 120 Hz on both LG or Samsung OLEDs. So no matter what the odds are, you can like Samsung, you can like LG, but no matter what the odds are, LG and Samsung OLEDs are the number 2 best type of TVs for gamers out there. And we are looking forward to getting, we was going to originally get the S90D and LG C4 most likely after discounts go on, but we might be able to get another S90C next month if it is still available on Best Buy's website, and we're going to get the LG B4 once Black Friday comes around and it gets a huge discounted sale price. And then once we get those, we're done. We're going to be officially done with TVs for a very long time. This time, this is for real, because we have to start saving money and we have to worry about pretty much like I mentioned, we have to worry about like housing and such like that, because we're thinking about doing a huge improvement in our life is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I said improve, but you get what I'm saying. We have huge plans for our future of our life. And so this is going to be literally the last 2 we get. And we're going to stick with OLED from here on out as our gaming, because honestly, with 4K OLEDs, they are better than 8K LCD TVs like everybody has said. And you don't have to expect 8K gaming to ever come for a very long time. It probably won't be until maybe possibly the next generation of consoles, which is like still a long time away. We're talking like 4.5 years. But even then, I honestly don't think that developers are going to do that. I think we'll be able to get more of like true 4K gaming at that point, and probably 60 frames a second, if anything, if we get to that. If we do. And then like I mentioned, I mean, 4K is already good as it is, and honestly, may not even happen. We may not even get 8K with the way the developers up the graphics all the time and just have their games at a lower refresh rate. So even then, I don't think we might get to 8K gaming for quite some time. So a 4K OLED is best. It's definitely the way to go. So this is what our plans are, and this is going to be officially it, because we have to worry about saving money and a lot of other stuff. So we got 2 new OLEDs that we're going to get, and we're going to at least get rid of 2 of our LED TVs, and then we are officially going to move on, because it is starting to get to us, and we're starting to get burnt out on doing this all together. So definitely, if you are a hardcore gamer out there, you want the best TV for your gaming experience, OLED, a 4K OLED is way to go over an 8K LCD TV. And like I mentioned, you want the lowest input latency, the best prettiest picture, and the best gaming, features that the TVs have to offer. Samsung and LG, those 2 are the way to go. So if you want Dolby Vision, you got LG. If you want a brighter, more punchier, vivid picture, you got Samsung QD OLED. So if you want the best, those are the 2 to go. So everyone's right. OLED, a 4K OLED is the way to go for gaming, and just all together. So just figured I'd make this a very quick video for you guys to let you know this is our big announcement that we got 2 new OLEDs that we're going to get, and we are officially going to be done for a long time. And we will not be wasting any more of our money, because we have to save for a house and just what we have to do with our life for the future. So just wanted to make that announcement video for you guys, and to let you also know that if you are hardcore gamers out there, OLED is the way to go. So, this is Tech and Gaming Reviews. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you could, smack that like button. Subscribe if you're new to this channel, and we'll keep you posted with more content like this and gaming related stuff in the future. And let us know in the comment section down below if you're already somebody that has an OLED TV and which model do you have, if it's an LG C1, Samsung S90C, LG B1, or whatever model of an OLED that you have. Just let us know what model OLED you have and if you are happy with it for your gaming experience. So, minus all that, yeah, just let us know what OLED model TV you got and what brand, and if that was the best choice you have made for just your normal TV watching usage, or if you're a hardcore casual gamer and you're satisfied with your TV that you got for your gaming. So, let us know in the comment section. So, rate, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video. Peace out, fellas. It's OLED time, baby.